Welcome. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a fall themed art journal out of fodder that you have laying around and things that you maybe would be recycling or throwing in the trash. And with that said, let's get started. The inspiration for this little art journal too is some of the mushrooms that I've been making. Mushroom fodder that I've been making, and all of the little fall themed watercolor pumpkin and sunflower fodder that I made in my last video, which will be linked. So as well, throughout this, I'm going to be pulling stuff out of my fodder collection because I have a ton of stuff and I want to use it up. So let's start with the cover. All right, so let's start with the cover here. So I used a Whole Foods shopping bag that I would have just recycled, and I cut it up into the size pieces I wanted. And then you'll see in a minute that I used some of the pieces from the leftover part of the bag to cut out some pieces for my signature. And for the other pieces in the signature, which is coming up in just a second here, I used some of the papers that I made in Fodder School 4 this year, which were really fun. We made them with just all kinds of different paints and patterns and put them into a book to be used for later. And so the ones that I picked out of my book this time were ones that I liked but did not really have much of a pattern on them. So like they've got a little bit, but they're nice neutral backgrounds. So that would be good to put my pieces of fodder onto as I put the book together. And so to start the cover, the cover decoration, I cut out a piece of my scrapbook paper, and this is from one of my fall collections. This is actually a fall freebie, so you can check that out in the comment section if you want to download that. It's got lots of cute little scrapbook papers and cards and fussy cuts that you can play with. They're all fall themed. They're really adorable, so you should definitely check that out. So I just glued the piece of paper on the inside. So this is going to be the inside cover that you're seeing here. And then I went ahead and played around with my signature pieces. So what I wanted to do with the signature pieces is have them all kinds of different sizes and sticking out in different ways to give me some more creative inspiration when I'm putting this together. So I sewed it together with just using a regular old pamphlet stitch and a big long needle, and I used some cross stitching thread. I really liked this color and the way it went with the rest of the fodder that was going into it. Okay, and so once I was done with stitching everything together, I started on the cover. And so again, I took a piece of the printable scrapbook papers from the Cozy Fall collection. I really love this one. I love these little leaves on it. They're just so cute. And I'm just using matte medium to put everything on to the paper backing. And just trimming it up here. And I played around with a couple of different ideas. So if you watched my last video with the fall fodder, you might recognize that pumpkin that I did. And I watercolor painted that one, and then I put a little bit of colored pencil on it to give it some details, and I think it turned out really cute. And then I cut out one of the sunflowers from the fuzzy cuts from the Cozy Fall collection. And also a really cute little napkin that I found at Michael's. Like, I saw these a few weeks ago and I had to go back and get them. I kept thinking about them because I was like, they are so cute. Also, the few tricks that I'm using here, if you were not aware of these, is being able to cut out a piece of napkin with just using a little bit of water from a watercolor pen. Comes right out. It was really cool. I've seen this a couple of times and had not had a chance to use it until now, and it works great. And the other thing is just taking a little piece of tape and ripping the back of the napkin to get it started so that you can peel it apart. And then also you can save those other pieces of napkin for other things, which are fun. And so I played around with this a little bit to get just kind of the look I was going for. And you'll see at the end of the video, everything got a little darker. And so in the next video, I'm going to play around with the cover a little bit more and lighten that back up. I have a few ideas for the flowers. So I took another piece of that scrapbook paper and put it on the binding and just put one on each side and cut it in half so it wouldn't get kind of bent and stuck and restrict opening and closing the journal. And I just used some glue stick for that part and just stuck it right on there. So I just did the front and the back and then gave everything a little trim. And then I was ready to start gluing stuff onto the front. And so again, I just used some matte medium for everything on the front and back covers. And I played around with this a little bit to kind of get what I wanted. And I was pretty happy with the layout at the end of it. And there's also one of the little pumpkins from my last fodder video. I had so much fun making that fodder, and you'll see at the end I still have some places left, and so I'm going to go back and make a little bit more fodder, so make sure to check out my next video as well. And so I had some other little pieces of fodder laying around that were die cuts that I purchased in packs, and I found this little flower, and so I was like, that goes perfectly on the front, so I stuck that on there too. And then just sketch a little bit more on my pumpkins to make them pop a little bit. And then you'll see here in a second, I also went back in and used my Stabilo all pencil in black and did a little shading between all the layers. All right, so after that, I just went back in with a little bit of water. I will say I'm still learning how hard to go with the Stabilo pencil. So as you can see, it gets really dark, and I have not quite mastered getting just that like right amount of shadowing, but I improve every time I do it. So, and I really do love the way this turned out. I got a few little dark in a few places, but overall I really like it. Like I said, I want to go back and make a little bit of this pop on the front. So make sure to check out the next video and see what I do. And so on the back, I just took my Posca markers and embellished the little Whole Foods logo part with the markers. I also just recently got these Poscas, and I understand all the rage about them. They're really cool and amazing. So if you're on the fence, like totally just go get yourself some. They're worth the money for sure. And I went back in with my alcohol inks, which I'm a little on the fence about. Like, they're okay. But it didn't quite have the effect I was going for. So I think a lesson learned on that one. I think it's just the brown paper. I don't really love the way it looks, but it's still okay. And went again with some of my die cuts, and there's one of the little mushrooms I made in my mushroom fodder video. If you haven't seen that one, go back and check it out. It was really cute. Everything was just adorable. And then I took some of the printables again. These are just my Victorian portraits. Again, one of my downloads that are available, and kind of roughed up the picture a little bit and then taped it on the inside. I used another piece of that napkin as well, because I just really love that napkin. I think it's so cute. I just really love the art on it. A little obsessed. And used some washi tape at the top of the page and also on the photo itself. Like, I glued it down, kind of roughed it up a little bit, and then made it look like it was taped in there. And if you have seen some of my last videos, you may recognize this little piece here. So it's the tag book that I made, and I'll link to that video as well. But it would not fit in the book, and I really wanted to put it in. And so I ended up taking the photo of the woman off and taking off the, I couldn't get the butterfly wings off. And so I took another set of butterfly wings and fit them to her and glued them on. And that way I was able to put it into the book. And I really like the way it turned out. I think it looks really cool. And you could see on the other side there, I had a little paper doll bird that I had made a while ago, that you can see at the end again, that I just had laying around, and I was like, oh, there, it found a home. So it goes in there. And you might recognize these cards that I'm putting in here too. And those were from the folio video that I did. And again, I was like, I really love these a lot, and I think they deserved to go into an art book too. So I stuck those in here, and actually some of the other cards from that folio video as well will be at the end of the book. So I think those are coming up in just a second. And what I did was I just glued these back to back on each other onto one of the pieces of paper so that it's like a page. And then you also might recognize this too from one of my recent videos. And, I'd made this fall themed card in that fodder video with some of the fodder that I'd made. And so I was like, I want to put that on the back cover because I think this one was really cute too. I would love like my little moon face with the flower hair that looks kind of like a sun, and a little bird in there too. I think they're just really cute and they make me happy. And so next I also took some ribbon that I got from a set recently at Michael's, just like a little scrap, and put that at the top up there because I thought that looked really nice when I put it on there. Gives it that extra kind of like embellishment, I guess, of having a fall theme. And then that's a card that I made early on in fodder school. And I also have some more of those paper dolls that I really wanted to fit this little deer in here, and I just could not find a way to put her in. So she's still sitting on my desk, but she's going to find a home soon because, like I said, I think she's really cute. And there's another pug too that I made when I was making all these little paper dolls, which let me know in the comments if you like those and if you would like to see a video where I make some more of these, because I really think I need to make some more. I did them with my kids at school. They loved them. They were so creative. There's just like endless possibilities when you start finding these little heads and all of these things to use for clothes and things. They're really, really adorable. And you might notice my bird has a little hair that is from an onion bag. And it makes me just giggle, clearly, every time I look at it. I really, really love it. And there's another piece of that mushroom fodder on the back of this page. And that was all I could fit into this one. And so for the next video, I'm going to be making some more fodder. So be sure to check that out. Okay, so we're going to leave off there. Make sure to check out part 2 of this video because I got super inspired while I was doing this and have all kinds of fun ideas for different fodder that I could put in here, like little acorn houses and gnomes and snails. So be sure to check that out and check out the end result. All right, see you in the next video. Bye.